We're now going to pin all the pieces of the bag together. You should have the strap, the bag, the lining, and the front flap if you've made one. The first thing we want to do is trim down some of the seam allowances on the actual bag. So get your fabric scissors and trim off some of your seam allowances along the two bottom corners. It just takes some of the bulk out of the bottom of your bag. Cut straight across the bottom and then turn your bag the right way out. So you should be looking at the good side of your bag now. The next step is we need to find the middle of just one side. So fold your bag in half and place a pin where the fold is, and that marks the middle position. If you've made a flap, you need to do exactly the same thing. So fold your flap in half and put a pin in the fold to mark that mid position as well. We're going to line up these two mid positions. However, the trick here is to make sure that you turn your flap over. So we actually want the flap to be facing with the decorated side downwards. That is absolutely crucial, otherwise you'll be putting your flap on backwards. So line up the two pins, and you're going to pin the flap through just one layer of the bag. You're not pinning all the way through all of the layers. You still need to be able to open up the bag. So you're just attaching the flap with the decorated side downwards to one side of your bag. Make sure you pin it not just in the middle, but where the flap starts and finishes as well. That's really important. So you should still be able to open your bag. The next step is to attach the strap. So you'll see that the seam line needs to be in the middle of the strap. So place your strap so that the middle of the strap lines up with that join line, and pin the strap so that the raw edges of your material are even. You should place at least 2 pins in the strap, one on each side, just to make sure that it doesn't move around. Double check that it's in the middle, and then you're going to do the other side. It's very important to make sure you don't accidentally twist your strap, so very carefully drag it around the bottom of your bag, and when you're sure that you haven't twisted it, line it up against the other side. Once again, put 2 pins in your strap to hold it in position, making sure that the middle of the strap lines up over that seam on the inside. The next step is to turn your lining inside out. Once it's inside out, you need to make sure you know which side of it has the zipper on it, because that side of it needs to match up with the side of the bag that has the flap. This is the tricky part. Place the denim bag and the flap inside the lining bag. So you'll need to make sure that the strap goes in and all of the denim bag goes in. And you want to make sure that the side of the lining that has the zipper on it matches up with the side of the bag that has the flap on it. So there's the zipper and there's the bag with the flap. You're going to just pin all the edges around, almost in a circle. So starting from the sides, because that's where you've got a seam line and you know that all your seam lines will match up, the seam line of the lining should match up with the seam line inside your bag. Now this will be quite difficult to pin because you've also got the strap through there. Try and get some pins in to hold that in place, and then continue pinning around the sides of your bag. You need to make sure that the raw edges always stay nice and even. You're going to keep pinning all the way around your bag, joining the lining to the bag, making sure that these raw edges are nice and even. Sometimes you'll be going through lots and lots of layers of denim, so you might find it a bit more difficult to pin. Lining up your edges, keep pinning all the way around. When it's time to pin the lining to the side of the bag with the flap on it, be aware that you are going through lots of layers of denim, so you will just need to be very careful with your pins to make sure you go through all of your layers and that they are firmly attached. If you've accidentally got any pins in any of the other layers, make sure you take them out along the way, because you wouldn't want to sew over them and trap them in your bag. You'll be able to feel a ridge where the flap starts and finishes, and you would have had other pins in there holding it in place as well. So make sure you just take those other pins out and replace them so that you can see all of your pins nice and clearly. Although it's not difficult to do this pinning, it's probably one of the most fiddly parts of the bag, simply because all your fabric is so thick. Once you've finished, you should be able to open up the inside of your bag and see that it opens up neatly, that all your raw edges are nice and even, and you can see the circle that you're actually going to sew around. You're always going to sew 1.5 centimeters from the edge.